Hi, so in the theme of make your own Christmas presents, which is what I'm going to be doing a lot of this year, I thought I'd make a start with this little letters gift box. So I bought this box from Hobbycraft. It was about £4.50, and it's for the Deco Mache projects. But I thought I'd have a go at doing an acrylic pour with it. See, it could turn out badly, but then again, hopefully it'll turn out just fine. So I bought this kit from Hobbycraft, and it's just made out of cardboard, and it's self-contained box, little plastic top, and inside it's got the letters. This one spells out love. So I've got my colours mixed up just here. I've already mixed them 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol, and everything I kind of do is make your own, so hence the make your own studio kit. It's basically a cardboard box lined with paper, and I've got some plant pots to put the letters on so that the paint can drop off on the sides, hopefully give it a nicer finish. So I'm going to make a start then. So I've got my paints mixed. It's important to get a good flow on the paint. I'm going to drop some silicone oil. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to drop some silicone oil into the pink. I like to put the silicone oil in the darkest of all the paints that I use, because the cells are more prominent and they just work a little bit better. So I use this, you can't really see because it's covered in paint, but the Montmartre silicone oil, and I'm just going to put 3 drops in and give it a mix. A little tip that I heard on someone else's video is the more you mix it, the smaller the cells will be. The less you mix it, then the bigger the cells. So I'm just giving it a couple of stirs today. Right, move the paints out of the way. Okay, so I've kind of got this second shelf here because I thought if there was some paint left over, then I would pour on the box itself as well with the same colours, save me having to try and mix the same ones and whatnot. So just pop that to one side for now. I'm going to bring my paint pots quite close together so that I don't have to travel as far with the paint. Now, normally if you was like professional or well organised, which I never am, then you probably want to make sure that it's nice and level, so that the paint doesn't drop or tip. If I was doing a canvas, then I'd do that. I'd use a spirit level and just try and make sure that it was nice and even. I'm going to apologise in advance, by the way, in case you hear any squeaks or random voices. It's actually my parrots. They like to get involved in everything I do, so I'll try and get them to keep the noise down. So I was a bit unsure whether or not I should have painted them first, seal them. It might be worthwhile, but I'm literally just going to try it on this to see if I can get the technique right with the actual pour itself, and if it's successful and turns out I do need to paint them first, then that's what I will do next time. So gloves, lots of gloves, because it gets very messy. Okay, just going to grab a cup and we'll start mixing. By the way, I'm going to be using a dirty pour technique. So this is basically where you get a cup and you put all your colours, layer your colours in the cup, and then you just tip and pour. So that's the technique I'm going to attempt today. So first of all, I'm going to pour a bit of white in. Then I'm going to go with the dark pink. The higher you pour, depends on where the paint sits. Like, I'm keeping it at moderate height because I want the paint to sit on top of each other and layer. But if you pour from higher, then the paint sinks. So depends on what you want first. See, if I pour it higher up, then it sinks below the layers more. But you don't have to do this in any particular order, by the way. You just literally just pour. So let's see, a bit more height. Some people turn it from the side as well. They pour from the side. So it just depends. It's very much a trial and error art, let's say. And no two projects are the same, so that's why I love doing this. This is so much fun. And if you've been like me and you've just been watching all these videos and never really actually gotten around to do it, I would just have a go. Just even if you try it once and think, wow, that was too messy, too expensive, too, you know, at least you tried. That's the best advice I can give you. I tried it once and I'm absolutely hooked. So I'm just going to pop that down so I can get a bit more outside. You want to try and use up as much as you can. I saw a really good technique actually where people mix the paints up and then put them in these kind of plastic bottles with the nozzle lids, and the paints keep then till the next time you want to pour, which is, you know, such a simple technique, but so simple I wouldn't have thought to do that just yet. So the more advanced you get, you know, and the more into it you get, then I'm sure you can start developing sort of things like that. So I'm just doing it old school in the cups. And try and keep a little bit of white behind, not much, but the biggest problem I had when I first started doing pour was making sure I had enough paint. It's hard to judge, I think. Right. Okay. So my cup's ready. Looks like bubblegum candy. Yummy. Anyway, I do like my pinks. Okay, I'm just going to move those out of the way because I am very clumsy. Right there. Ready to go. Okay. Okay. Not really sure how this is going to turn out. That's a good start. So I'm just, at first I thought I was just going to pour straight across, but as I started I thought, let's try and follow the shape of the letters. Right, the idea is that you get it all over the sides as well. So the reason you put the Floetrol is because you want it to move. I mean, it's got some good effects already. I'm just gonna pour a bit more and mix it up a bit and see what happens. Whoops. Oh, see? Clumsy. I want these to go down the sides a bit more. Okay. The coverage actually isn't as bad as what I thought, so I'm just going to separate them just a smidge because I want all of the edges to get covered. I mean, wow, this is so messy, but look at the effects already. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it dries. The thing with this as well, just might be worth pointing out, is sometimes the way it dries is completely different to when you first pour, just because it moves and it changes. But I mean, I guess that's what makes it so unique. Right. So from this angle, it looks okay. Everything's quite covered. Just gonna use a stick to try and pick up some of this and splodge it on. Make sure all the sides are covered, that's all. Try and use it like a shovel rather than just anything else, because it you don't want to affect the pattern too much. See, like that. Okay, there's a bit here that's not covered. I'll try and skip that bit there. One thing I've never been very good at is being patient. So sometimes if I'm doing a project and it's getting messy, I have a tendency to panic a little bit. So I almost rush. And the thing with this is you can't really rush it, because otherwise all the colours get muddied together and the results aren't very pleasing. So it's best to just take your time. So it's not turned out too badly. We'll see how it dries, obviously, because that's the key, that's the test. Try and get in there and paint do the work. So this is the insides is the tricky bit, because you don't want to like interfere with the top. I'm just making sure that all the sides are covered and the inside of the letters. So there's some mist there. Okay. Right. Well, that's a bit tricky. Try and get in there. Maybe if I use a smaller lollipop stick, that might help. That's fine. And try and pat as well rather than smear, because I've done that before, and then you just think, oh, the effect's just not the same. You lose the kind of marbling and all that kind of thing. 'Cause like I said, patience, something that I don't have a lot of, but you need to have with this kind of project. So I'm just patting it because you want the colour to look, I mean the coverage to look like it's natural and not like you're cheating and adding it on like this. Okay, so, alright, not too bad, a bit more. Just going to pour a teeny bit more on the edge there because I don't want that to be a... That's better. Okay. So the key to a good pour is basically coverage. The more paint you use, the better the finish will be, because you want it to be smooth. Sometimes if you use like the paint that's too thick, or you've touched it, or there's not enough on there, then you can see holes in the paint, and so it goes right down to the canvas, soaks into the canvas or what have you. So it's best to use too much paint, I guess. I mean, some of the experts that are experts at this would probably say, no, don't do that, but this is how I do it. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm just scraping the bottoms, just so we don't have any paint drips on the bottom, which could affect how it fits back in the box, or what have you. So, right, okay, that wasn't completely disastrous actually. It looks really good at the moment, so obviously how it dries is how it's going to change things. Hopefully it won't drop off. It will just stay where it is in the pattern and design it's in. Oh, I missed a couple of bits there. So I still have some paint left, which is great, so I am going to attempt the box bit as well. Okay, I think I've got most of it covered. Well, all of it, I should say. Right, so I'm happy with that. Now I know you shouldn't move them either. You're supposed to just leave them for a couple of days, literally a couple of days. But because I want to do the box, oh, slippy, I'm going to move these over here. Oh, as carefully as I can. Like I said, clumsy me. I will just do it as carefully as I can. Okay. I might put something under there just to keep it level, because it's looking a bit... Oh, I just love it. This paint when it's left over, it's just amazing. Look at that. It's just amazing. Okay, just going to get some cardboard. Excuse me a moment. Just try and lift it up a little bit so it's a bit flatter. Okay. So I just use what I've got lying around. So I'm just going to use this little bit of cardboard. There we go. That looks a bit flatter. That'll do for now. Okay, let's just move this out of the way. Oh. Okay, now for the box. I mean, just thinking about it, No. Let's just do it like this. Okay. So with the rest of it, just going to do the same. Just pour it on. And scrape it all out. I want to try and use up all of it. Okay. See the difference where I just poured it on as opposed to where I've scraped it on, and because I've moved the pink around that got the silicone in, don't forget it really affects it. So I'm just going to drop some of that off. I want to try and cover the edges as well, which is going to be tricky, but let's see what happens. That's the thing with me. What's the plan, Sam? Usually there isn't one. Okay. That's cool. Right, now I've got this paint here. I'm just going to tap it on the sides, make sure it's all covered. Should have perhaps put this on, raised this on something as well, but as I said, what's the plan, Sam? There usually isn't one. Okay. I haven't actually got like a workshop or anything. I just do it in my living room at the moment. So, which isn't ideal, obviously, because really you need to leave your artwork out. So if you are going to do a project, make sure you're doing it in a room where you can leave it for a couple of days, literally a couple of days, because the least amount of movement afterwards, the better, really. You want it to just settle, give it a fighting chance to be a success, really. But okay, so, and also make sure you've got something that's kind of waterproof underneath, because like me, I'm just using cardboard, which is not the best because obviously it soaks in and could potentially soak through, but I'm just using what I've got at the moment. Okay. Quite happy with that, actually. Just hope it dries like it, the same. So, I mean, should have raised it up, shouldn't I? What am I like? Okay, it's fine. One thing I'm good at is making a bad decision work. So I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to leave it where it is. Just making sure I've not got any paint drips on these letters. What I'll probably do is, once they've dried, I'm going to leave these probably, what day is it today? Wednesday. So I'll probably leave these till about Saturday. And then I might use some Mod Podge to give it a bit of a shine and what have you. So yeah, and there we have it. That wasn't actually too bad. Now, a little tip as well. Oh, I've just got paint on my leggings. Brilliant. Yeah, a little tip that I've seen is, if you're doing a canvas more so, but if you see any air bubbles in the paint, you can use a heat gun just to pop them out. So I'm going to just do that. But you've got to be really careful that you don't blow, because I'm just using a heat gun. Some people use Cook's torches, like the little blow torches. And that gets pops the air bubbles without it being moving the paint at all. So, but don't get too close to the artwork. Okay. See, if I was more organised, I'd have had that set up ready with the knife. Here we go. Plug it in. Right, check it works. Yeah, okay. I can just see a couple of air bubbles. So I'm just going to blow it really gently. Okay. The heat, by the way, will bring cells forward as well. So if you've got some, like this has got a lot of pink in it and it's got some white areas like this, if you use the heat gun, you might get some pink coming up. It encourages the cell development. Okay, so I'm going to leave that now. I'm actually thinking I might just raise that a little bit on some cardboard because I don't want it to tip off. It's looking like it's tipping a little bit, so I'll do that. I'll do that off camera. You don't need to see me do that. So there you go. Right, and once this is dried, I will come back to you and show you how it's turned out. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching so far.